just on outgoings, I mean, the outgoings has been an absolute disaster. Nobody has been sold, and it's August the 18th. I dread to think what would happen if I could tell the future. And after the Europa League final, if I said, wait a minute, this is fact, it's not speculation, on August the 18th, we still won't have sold anybody, I think people would be going crazy. If after that Europa League final, when we've lost to Spurs, if I'd said we won't have sold anybody by August the 18th, you'd be going, what? Well, here we are, August the 18th, we haven't sold anybody. Garnacho will probably go at some point, but Chelsea are trying to push the price down. Anthony will go at some point, but he wants to go on loan to Betis because they don't want to pay for him. And Sancho will go at some point, but it'll probably be for a loan. So, you know, Malacia will probably go as well. What he did say, and this was about Rasmus Amorim after the game, he said, limited playing time for Højlund if everyone is fit. At United, if you don't do what's required, a teammate will take your place. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I've shown that if you deserve it, you play. So I still think they're trying to push players out. But as I said, I think we're going to get to the James Garner situation very soon, where we start selling players we don't really want to sell because we can get money for them. And that's the scary thing, is that, you know, who else could be going that you don't really want to go just because we need to get some money in. Some people think that we can't afford to do any business at the moment, which again would defy logic why we started talking to £100 million player. But I mean, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen on sales. There is a story about Sancho. I'm almost embargoing it and banning it. It's just a waste of time to mention him. I really do think. But I think, look, in relation to Mainu, I do want to just say, in relation to Mainu, a lot of people were talking about Mainu yesterday. I think Mainu is an absolute irrelevance in the sense that I would have started him yesterday, but I'm not the manager. I would have brought Mainu on yesterday, but I'm not the manager. But this is what we mean. Playing one game a week because we're not in Europe is a fact. Playing one game a week means that in some 7-day periods, you'll only play 90 minutes. And when you're 1-0 down to Arsenal, you're not 4-0 up against Burnley and you can give Mainu 20 minutes. Like, he has to go with what he wants to do. I would have started Mainu instead of Casemiro. I would have brought Mainu on instead of Ugarte, but I'm not the manager. And the thing is, if you do start Mainu, Ugarte doesn't get a minute or Casemiro doesn't get a minute. Somebody is going to be in a situation this season where they don't get many minutes. Xerxes didn't get off the bench, did he? When Mazraoui's back, one of the centre-backs is not going to get any minutes. Ahmad was on the bench. So we have got a very big squad. Whether it's deep in quality or not, we've got a very big squad, and some of these players are not going to get minutes. Rasmus wasn't even on the bench. We've still got Lisandro Martinez to come back. Leon wasn't on the bench. You know, we have got a lot of players that are not going to get minutes. In a way, it's a positive. We played well yesterday. Mainu didn't get on the bench, didn't get on the pitch. Rasmus is still here and he's a striker and he didn't get on the bench. Martinez is still injured. Leon didn't get on the bench. There is a, you know, in a way, I flip it as a positive. You can't get everybody on the pitch and the manager will make mistakes. But the positive is, because I'm terrified of injuries at this football club over the last 2 years. So the positive for me is people see it as a negative that Mainu didn't get on the pitch. I'd be quite happy to keep this squad and add a goalkeeper and a midfielder to it, because we want to be intense. And to be intense, you've got to run a lot. And to run a lot, you've got to want to run a lot. And to want to run a lot, you've got to feel jeopardy. And to feel jeopardy, you've got to have a squad. And to have a squad, you've got to have people who don't even make the bench. And when I look at United yesterday, there's people that I think want to be in the first team who can't even get on the bench. And there's people on the bench who can't get minutes in the first team. So I don't see the Mainu thing as a negative, because he's about to sign a new contract. I think there's a long season ahead of us and we might pick up injuries. But I want to see that intensity every single game. And to get that intensity, we will remove the inconsistency. And to get that intensity, you need players to run. And you look at Mason Mount yesterday, and he must have been looking at it over the summer going, where am I going to play? Ahmad's a starter, and Burmo and Cunha have just cost £130 million. Where am I going to get into this team? And what you've seen from Mount is when the minutes he's been given, he's playing the best football he's ever played at Man United. I don't see him as a Chelsea player anymore, because I'm actually seeing him in a Man United shirt. And I know some people thought he was shit yesterday, What I thought about Mason Mount that impressed me yesterday was that he was a player playing out of position who put a shift in. And, I think Mason Mount's a very valuable player to have at Manchester United if he can stay fit. But he's playing like that because he's playing like that because he's got jeopardy. He knows he's not starting every week. And that's what we need to do. So I think that those people moaning about Mainu, I agree. I wanted him to start. I wanted him to play. But at the end of the day, to get in that team, he's got to be better. And I'm sure he will get in the team. And when he does get in the team, he's got to grab his opportunity. So intensity will only come from having a bigger squad. So I don't see it as a massive problem, as long as we don't think, let's cash in. And I'm hoping in the last 2 weeks we don't do anything stupid like that to get some money in, because we can't get rid of the players that we want to get rid of.